guys agree, and I do too. I think there's room in the industry for a marquee come one, come all, no prep event. Do you think that a series could work?
There is several of these races though going on. I mean, there's not a series per se, but
there's a lot of these.
Yeah, there's a lot of these races though.
There's a lot of them. I'm just saying, like, some organized. There's a ton of this back of the track stuff. Obviously, Lance Stanford's deal, the Carolina No Time Series is killing it.
Yep.
I mean, I think that thing's like basically a phenomenon. I want to ask this, and this was the question that we were actually submitted. What do you think? This is what it says. What do you guys think the draw is to no prep, no time style racing? Why is this so hot? What's driving that? I got to be honest, and I know that this is something that's highly controversial, especially amongst traditionalists and hardcore drag racing.
I know what you're going to say.
The clock's being off.
I knew you were going to say it.
I'm telling you. Want to know why?
Because they line up, and you got to get.
There's more to it. There's more to it. Your ego is protected. But I'm telling you, man, nobody wants to be 27th on a qualifying sheet, right?
Yeah,
like
true.
When those sheets, like I take Lights Out, for instance. These are events that a lot of people are looking at the qualifying sheets. Man, you want to be in the field, right? And you want to be in the mix. And it's one thing to be like guilty by association. That's what you want. But being that guy that missed the field, like, you know how many videos there are? I watched one the other day from Reaper, right? One of the guys on Street Outlaws, No Prep Kings. Reaper was talking about how, Big Chief couldn't even qualify at Lights Out. Well, if that race was a no clock, no time event, everybody that showed up qualified, right? I mean, do you know what I mean? And it just eliminates that. I talked to a race promoter out on the West Coast one time, and he told me that his most successful classes were no time classes, not because of the rules, not because of them having figured out something, but everybody's ego's kind of protected by nobody knowing what anybody runs, right? You don't know who. I mean, it's obvious. Like,
it's awesome. The hustle, before they lined up too, is really fun to watch. I mean, doesn't it make you, these guys are going to go at it.
Yeah. Doesn't it make you more willing to kind of lay it on the line, to go up there and get a race and to line up beside somebody? If you know down to the 1,000th what their car runs and what yours runs, and it basically becomes like, that's the way like pro stock is in most professional drag racing. It takes that out of the equation and makes it so it's like you feel like you've got a shot. You don't know how quick their car is. And
everybody's got to do the Dave Grubby, right? Everybody's got to go Grubnick and just swing for the fences, basically, because you don't know what that guy's got to do.
Yeah,
I really do think
it's a whole different strategy.
I like it. I like it a lot. And I know that it's a hotly contested thing, and the hardcore drag racers want to know what every car 60 foots and what everybody's running to the middle and what back splits are. And I get it. There's a place for that. But man, if there's anything to glean from the success of Street Outlaws and No Prep Kings, what really matters is winning and losing. And that's something that we've talked about a lot here at Drag Illustrated over the years, that I think there needs to be more of a focus on that, because honestly, we're guilty. We spent like the first whole half of the show rambling on about 338 miles an hour and this elapsed time or whatever. A couple weeks ago, we lamented over Erica Enders going 645 with a 0 and pro stock, and we love those things. And I think
that's kind of what that's built around.
It is. It's built around that, and that's the language of the hardcores. That's the language of we that have grown up in the sport. But if we're going to attract the masses and we're going to make this interesting to a worldwide audience, we've got to focus more attention on just who wins and who loses, happy and sad.
I think you said it right there. It's drawing the masses. I think that is the key to it. And as long as it's drawing a big crowd and it's on the tip of everybody's tongue and at top of mind and people are showing up, racers want to race in front of a big crowd. They're adrenaline junkies. They're after that buzz, that high of racing and performing in front of a big crowd. And that to me has been a big part of the draw and what keeps these no time and no prep series going, is that they're popular. Tracks want to have their events right now. I mean, it's kind of a perfect storm.
And it's character driven.
And we've seen some of the crowds that like Woodstock, for instance, and that's this weekend, I believe, right? Down at Darlington.
Yep. Darlington Dragway, Woodstock. What is this, like version 5, 6?
The 6th year, I believe. Yeah.
Holy
and
crap.
we've seen some huge crowds at that thing, and some great racing.
Oh,
I mean,
fantastic,
I
man.
think
I
when
mean, a
it
lot
first
of this
started, it
grudge
had
stuff,
Radio versus World involved in it as well.
Yep.
You know,
and now they've completely dropped that, right, to go after what is hot. And it's
What is
this
hot?
no time, no prep race. I mean, they're not going to run no prep there, but they will run with the clocks off. I do think that there's something to it. I think that gambling mystery aspect, that it leaves, it's open to interpretation, right? It leaves the room to wonder what these cars run, how fast they are. They're obviously fast. And I was going to say this earlier about No Prep Kings. It's clear as day that Ryan Martin's car is especially fast. It's clear as day that Justin Swanstrom's car is fast, right? I mean, Robin Roberts. Like, you can tell the cars that are fast, right? But they're all guilty. If you're there, you're guilty by association. And I think that so many racers, we have to be honest, right? We're all serving our own egos, right? We want to be out here. We want to be one of the guys really bad. Then you don't want to be one of the guys that didn't qualify, right? You don't want to be an also ran. And I think when you turn the clocks off, you immediately remove that factor, and it's a big deal, man. It really is.
It is, and it's you know, it's really caught on, and I think, well, it's been going on for a long time, but I think people do enjoy it. I think people in the stands, you know, you're not sitting there wondering, you know, what all the numbers are. If you're just a casual spectator, you watch these guys down the line, you know, negotiate terms, and then you see them line up, and then whoever gets the light turned on, man, that's who's winning it. And you've got $100 bet with somebody over next to you. You know, it's fun. Hell, they cleaned me out one weekend. You remember that, Wes? I was running the ATM back and forth. I'm like, Jesus.
Hey man, that's a whole other conversation, and we need to